Rent to Rent just made it to the Channel 4 news, but instead of actually explaining it properly, they made it sound like you're basically the devil if you do it. So today I'm going to break it all down, show you the real story, and if you're smart, show you why this might be the best business model left in the UK right now.
As stocks fluctuate, one investment remains a viral obsession.
I make 1,200 quid a week from my 2-bedroom flat in Soho, and I don't even have to lift a finger.
So Channel 4 dropped this piece trying to explain Rent to Rent as the shady, greedy, leeching off the poor scheme. Meanwhile, I've helped many people escape low-wage jobs, build real businesses, and even buy their first homes because of Rent to Rent. So let's actually lay down the facts, because you deserve the full picture, not just fear headlines.
But rather than add to the housing supply, speculators who rent to rent increase the demand, and with it the price.
Here's what Channel 4 just told you, that Rent to Rent jacks up prices for everybody, that we're speculators causing inflation, that we're exploiting the poor people, that this model is unethical and should probably be banned. So let me just set the record straight. In this video I'm going to show you what Rent to Rent actually is, why they're scared of young people using it to break free,
and a new generation is desperate to join the game.
and the real reason they want you to stay stuck in a job, broke and taxed to death. So if you stay to the very end, I've got a free training video that breaks down the entire business model the right way, no fluff, no nonsense, just facts.
Imagine waking up on a train and realising you made 5k while you were asleep.
So right out of the gate, they hit you with this classic emotional trick. Look at these rich landlords making money while you suffer. What they don't mention, everyone has the same access to Companies House, to a laptop, to a phone, to the exact strategies that can build this as well. This isn't about being privileged. It's not about having something that you don't have. It's about information, and you're here getting it.
Speculators who rent to rent increase the demand, and with it the price.
So they're trying to tell you that Rent to Rent operators are driving up the rent. So there are roughly 4.5 million rental properties in the UK. And if you're starting a Rent to Rent business, the SIC code is 68209. That is letting and operating real estate. So there's around 400,000 companies. That's not just Rent to Rent companies, that is letting and operating real estate. Instantly you might be thinking, okay, there's 400,000 rent to renters. That's not the case. Active companies under the SIC code 68209, letting and operating real estate is around 400,000 companies. So that includes estate agents, all types of renting real estate. The last time I checked, it was 15,000 rent to rent companies. So the percentage of housing stock managed by rent to rent operators is less than 1%. So what are we doing? Causing inflation or solving gaps in the market left by councils and government?
Can rent an individual house and rent it to a family and make £300-400. We're doing this as a HMO and we'll make triple that amount of profit.
So straight away they're grabbing on to giving you the impression that this person's being greedy. They slam Ezekiel for renting out rooms individually instead of one family. But let's get real. Uber does not own cars. Deliveroo doesn't own restaurants. Shell doesn't own barely any of the petrol station. Every high street hairdressers rent their units to sell their product, and they sublet again and rent chairs to other barbers. So is Uber ruining the transport? No, they're just operating inside the system and doing it better. Same with Rent to Rent. So you can either never get an Uber, you can never get a McDonald's. That's a franchise. They paid to set up the business, buying the franchise, and then sell McDonald's product. It's exactly the same to make a profit. You get an Uber. Uber is renting the owner's car to sell their product as a delivery service. You're never going to get an Uber again. When you start to think that everything you can control and make money off, there's so many different products doing exactly the same. It's because this is property. It's the government's baby. So if you're already seeing how much bullshit gets thrown at this business model, then watch my free training linked below. I'll show you exactly how Rent to Rent actually works. Ethically, properly, profitably.
The father of three has one job for every child and is his family's breadwinner, with rent their biggest cost.
Listen, no one's pretending the housing market isn't broken. It is, but the system isn't broken by small operators trying to build a better life for themselves. It's broken because they want you stuck renting forever. Because housing equals government control, equals tax money, equals leverage. If you touch their baby or you try and go against the grain, they'll call you unethical. They don't want you exiting the rat race. Tell you what, TikTok has really helped the younger generation really be exposed to, actually, I don't have to follow the traditional system because it doesn't work. So many people out there showcasing the traditional system does not work anymore. With going to uni, getting a job to get taxed the hell out of, to then be trapped. There's so many younger people getting into Rent to Rent. So put it on Channel 4 News. Show the mum and dad that this is unethical. So when their child says, I'm thinking about starting a Rent to Rent business, straight away you've got old-fashioned people telling their children, no, that's not right. You can't do that. You've got to do this. Bigger picture. That's exactly the agenda that they're trying to set. It's unethical. They don't want you exiting the rat race. They want you staying poor, stressed, taxed, obedient. When you start a rent-to-rent business, you learn marketing, negotiation, customer service, property management, team building, branding. You become the kind of person who eventually owns property or builds businesses, or hell, leaves the UK because you've figured out how much tax will absolutely ruin you if you stay. Rent-to-rent is not a scam, it's a stepping stone. So yeah, the system's open for anyone if you stop playing by the rules they want you to. So let's sign this video off in a Channel 4 way, shall we? So you can either get triggered by the Channel 4 narrative or get triggered into action and change your life. The choice is yours. Watch my free training below if you want to see how rent-to-rent actually works the right way. See you there.